Hello, welcome to my tutorial on adding decimals. Adding decimals is just like adding regular numbers. We just have to remember to line up our decimal points. Let's go ahead and get started. When we're adding decimals, there's only one real rule that we need to remember, and that is that we need to line up the decimals. That's the number one most important thing. So, if I have 23 and 2/10, I'm going to line that decimal up with the decimal that's in 1 and 23/100ths. This is what needs to be lined up. It cannot be like this. You will get the wrong answer every time if you do it like that. So make sure the decimals are lined up perfectly, and then we can add. When you're going to add, you need to look and see if you have any blank spaces. Here we have a blank space, so we're going to put a 0 as a placeholder. 0 plus 3 is 3. 2 plus 2 is 4. You always bring down the decimal exactly where it's at. They all need to line up. 3 plus 1 is 4. And then 2 plus nothing is 2. 24 and 43/100ths. All right, that was pretty easy. Let's try another one. All right, on this one I have a piece of loose leaf paper turned sideways, because when you're writing it down, this is a very helpful way to make sure you keep everything lined up. Before we write anything down, we need to make sure we remember our number one most important rule, which is line up the decimals. We're going to write our decimal point first in our first number, and then we're going to fit it around, so 7.976. And then we're going to be adding 0.12, or 0 and 12/100ths. So we're going to put our decimal first to make sure they're lined up right on the line, and then we're going to fill in our number. We have a blank space here at the end, so we're going to put a 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 1, 10. Carry the 1. Bring your decimal down exactly where it is, and then 1 plus 7 is 8. So 8 and 96/1000ths is your final answer. Let's go ahead and do one more example together. 12 plus 4 and 5/10. First, we need to remember our very most important rule. The decimal is at the end of a whole number. Did you think it was going to say line up the decimals? That is true, but in this case, we have a special situation that we need to talk about. We have a whole number, and there's no visible decimal. But in any whole number, the decimal is always at the end. So when we line them up, we need to make sure that's where we put our decimal. All right, so we said that the decimal's at the end of the 12. So when we go and put our decimal, we're going to put 12, just like that. Then we're going to line up 4.5. So we put our decimal, 4.5. We have a blank space, so that means add a 0. Now we're lined up and ready to add. 0 plus 5 is 5. Bring your decimal down. 2 plus 4 is 6. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So our final answer is 16 and 5/10. All right, let's wrap this up with some rules and some practice. Rule number 1, line up the decimals. That really is the very most important rule. Rule number 2, if you have a whole number, like in our last problem, the decimal is behind the last number. And finally, put zeros as placeholders. That just helps you keep organized, and especially when we move on to subtraction, it's really important. Let's go ahead and do some practice. Go ahead and pause your video, do these problems, and then the answers will pop up shortly. All right, here are the answers. I want to point out to you in this one, just like when we're rounding, if we have extra zeros at the end of a decimal number, you can drop them. So our final answer would be 25 and 5/10. In this problem, our final answer is 46 and 17/100ths. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.